what's going on? I'm gonna do back-to-back videos. It's a little late Sunday, 5 o'clock-ish. It's 100 degrees. Although it's a little bit shady on this side of the house, it's still 100 degrees. It's ultra quiet. There's some issue as I came out earlier and the pump was making noise, so it's not getting, the tote's not filling up. So I'm wondering if there isn't some residue. There's a little screen that goes on the incoming part of the float, so I need to, unfortunately, come in, unscrew everything, take these 2 buckets off, get that plank up, and dig in and get the get that little screen filter off of the float and get it back together. But I'm waiting for it to cool off. But again, it's over 100 degrees. See, that thing lies even though it shows 105. It's not 105, but it is 100-ish. I'm just waiting for it to cool off so I don't get too sick from sitting in here in the heat, because it's significantly hotter in here. The red peppers are doing well. It looks like it dropped a couple. Either that or I missed them when I was picking the other day. And they're starting to ripen pretty fast. And there's a boatload up here. And the orange ones, there's more green ones. You can't really tell unless I get right in close. But, you know, it's doing its thing. The cherry tomatoes are starting to slow down as I've been cutting them. There's a few on this one. Then there's this Roma. And let's back this up a little bit. This Roma, there's not a ton on this one. There's a few, so they're kind of hitting the end of their life cycle. Like I said, cherry tomatoes everywhere. Hey, no fair peeking. Then I just need to get a couple cuttings of some suckers and start to get them rooted and give them a couple weeks, and then I can start starting the next batch. The Serrano is doing really well after I moved it. I don't know if it didn't like that back corner or it was just too much heat. You can hear the noise. That's my head rubbing against the plastic. So the Serrano's doing pretty well. They're not growing super long, but that's okay, right? They're doing their thing. So fair amount of peppers, and they're actually hanging over top of the tomato cage. Stops there, so they actually need more support, but I'm just gonna kind of let them hang. I've kind of gotten the don't want to do too much attitude. It's just so darn hot. Again, you know, cherry tomatoes doing well. This one's getting a little soft. These are firm. Could use a few more days before they get a little bit darker like these. Then the Romas. So this one was the one that had the heat problem. We've got some that are splitting because ripe and then because of the heat. And then our monster ones, they look like Romas. I keep saying Romas. They're Juliet grape tomatoes. They're just so darn big. They look like Romas. And this plant, although it's nice, green, lush, it has some new ones coming. It's going to get to the point where the roots are so thick in the bucket that eventually the water won't even drain, and this will start flooding. So again, need to take some cuttings and start getting ready for second grow. And we'll start at the back. So ton of these. Oh, look at that. No, that stem's not broke. It's actually bent and grew that way, so that's cool. So these usually look a little more red on camera than they are in person. These are pretty decent size. They're a good heavy tomato, but then some of these you just gotta look at it in the hand. They're just monsters. That one's starting to split, so just let them hang out, see how long they're going to ripen before they start to get soft. But every plant's, you can just see tomatoes everywhere. The more you look, you can just see tomatoes. There's a tomato, there's a tomato. Everybody gets a tomato. So, still new buds and things coming, but again, as you can see, this is that's gonna be what we'll say about 5'8". So even the short people would bump their head. Ha ha. Won't mention any names. Teresa Dean. I mean, there's just stuff everywhere. I've just been letting it grow. There's a couple supports, and then I really just let it do its thing. Like I said, kind of been hands off. It's too hot. Don't really want to come in and trim. Don't really want to come in and hasn't been any need to hand fertilize. I did a little bit in the beginning, but it's been plenty of wind doing its job. So that's the bulk of the inside updates this week, and if there's anything else exciting, I will splice it in. They've been sitting on the counter. I have to clean all the jars. I did get 13 quarts of tomatoes that I canned last week, so that's the other cool part, is there were enough big tomatoes to do a canning session, so yay me. Well, I decided while I had everything out, go ahead and try to fix everything. You can hear what this pump sounds like. I already took everything apart, cleaned out the float, and it sounds like it's just dying. I don't know what else to do. It's a brand new float pump outside of changing the style of it, which I want to do, but I mean, I just bought that pump. Should have been good for another year. Have had no issues with those float valves, 3 years in a row. So looks like I got to take it apart again and manually fill it and babysit it until I can get a new float. I don't know what else to do. I mean, it sounds terrible. It's either that or I can't even see the water level from here. But yeah, I'm going to have to shut it off and dive in there. So not what I wanted to do, but it looks like what I have to do. Alright, I guess temporarily crisis averted. So pulled the lid off, pulled off the float, and let it fill the tote. Actually overfilled it a little bit. It was working, as this one is supposed to kind of trickle, but I think because it was plugged, it wasn't trickling enough, and then it couldn't catch up enough to fill the tote and to keep the pump submerged. Because you notice when the pump is submerged, there's no noise. So I think what I'm going to do, so there's a different type of float. They use them like on cattle troughs, and there basically is no the float's weird. It's more like on a lever. I just need to order one, and it has to be mounted different, so I think I need to get that in. That way I don't have this problem, because I can't do this manually and be trying to figure all this out. And the other thing I think I need to do is, as I've had different issues as it's flooded with the rain, the next time I need to take this apart, I need to empty the tote out, take most of this apart, get a shovel in here, and get this thing down a couple more inches back to where it used to be. Other than that, like I said, crisis averted for this week.